Hello and welcome to The Last Tackle, a very special show this week. Delighted to welcome two special guests to the studio. For many, the voice of Rugby League, Eddie Hemmings, and now the Chief Executive of the Wigan Warriors, Kris Radlinski. Thanks for coming in, Kris.
No problem.
How's the head?
I can't keep up with these lads anymore. I tried for a while, but no, I think...
But joking apart, it's important to celebrate, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, Matt made a comment in the changing room straight after. He said, look, you've won this is amazing, but it's also, you've won the four trophies. He said, don't waste these celebrations. And he encouraged them to keep going until he said stop. So I think they took his advice. But, you know, you put yourself through so much physically and mentally, and it's important once your objectives and goals are achieved that you let your hair down, and you know they did that. They had a reek go.
You commentated on him as a player. He's now the chief exec at Wigan Warriors. Done a brilliant transition.
About him, great player. I mean, I'll never forget when we went to Edinburgh, wasn't it, for the Challenge Cup, 2002?
Yep, won the Lance Todd.
A long time ago, and you won the Lance Todd. You should never have played. You had all sorts of problems in the week before, and you came out and you produced what you produced. I mean, you know, and we know you were a great player. And the transition from being a poacher to a gamekeeper, has it been difficult for you? I imagine it must have been.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's a privilege, you know, to do the job that you do. I'm lucky that I had a mentor in Ian Lenigan who believed in me and invested a great amount of time in me. And it's not been an easy process. You know, I've been probably going 11 or 12 years now.
Blimey, is it that long now?
Probably in the role, but named probably about 3 or 4 years.
Oh, okay.
But I've been doing all the stuff that goes with it for that long. But I've learned so much. You know, ironically, I never wanted to get into coaching because I didn't want it to.
Don't blame you.
Take over all your life, and then you go and end up doing something like this. And you know, it's like I said, there's a lot of pressure, certainly with the history of the club. But you know, pressure's a privilege, and I enjoy working with a new board, a new owner, a really exciting young coach, and a pretty talented team. So it's a good place to be at the moment.
Were you as proud on Saturday night winning a Challenge Cup as chief exec as you were as a player?
Yeah, I was because I think you know, I've gone on record as saying that playing rugby league was an amazing time for me. But you know, I think the fact that you come to the end of your career and you have to reinvent yourself and do something else, I'm probably more proud of what I've achieved since my career finished to where I am now, because you know, you have to go through that great transition which every single player is going to have to go through. And you know, you there comes a point as a rugby league player where you know, the fans stop asking for your autograph. You have to, you know, yesterday's hero, if you like, and the guys of today are the ones getting the attention, and you have to go through all that process of reinventing yourself. And I think, you know, it shows a test of character in itself. So I'm more proud of certainly what I've done over the last decade than what I did playing rugby for Wigan.
And it's such an iconic club, isn't it, Wigan? You know, you've mentioned the history. What is it now? 21 Challenge Cups. That run that they all had in the 80s, 70s, 80s. I mean, it's probably good that you were at Wigan for all that length of time as a player, because you knew what was expected of the people who run the club and who are charged with making the new signings, getting the new contracts in, appointing new coaches, and getting things together. So you knew, I think, when you stepped into this role, what was expected, and pressure on the field. But as you say, pressure off the field as well to keep it going. And that's the question now. People are saying this is the start of a new dynasty for Wigan. You know, 4 cups in 12 months, 5 cups in 2.5 years for Matty Pease. Outstanding. Can it go on? Is it possible to go on in this high level of sport?
Well, look, I think there's no doubt our history has paved a very difficult path for us. You know, it's synonymous with the game. Everybody, when you go places and you tell them you're from Wigan, people understand and know what it's all about. But also, it's a very demanding town. You know, every one of us is accessible. We really are, and that's a good thing. And it's also can be a bad thing. And you know, we're close to our people, and we're close to the communities we represent. So people will always give their opinion to you. But you know, sat on the coach on the way home with Matt and Sean O'Loughlin and Tom Aluluai, and you know, we weren't basking in glory. We were just like, what do we do next? How can we maintain this? And we've done a lot of work on the coaches. You know, they're tied up for a long period of time. You know, 3 very, very talented guys. We've tied down a lot of our stars, and we're buckling in because we want that period of success and domination. But I also know it's not going to be easy. St Helens' success over the last 4 or 5 years has made us better, made us look internally at ourselves, and made us understand that if we want to get to their levels, we have to do things a bit differently. So we did that, and at this moment in time, people are going to be looking at us to say, how do we catch them?
Well, every time you turn up, the opposition will raise the game because, hey, come on, lads.
Yeah.
Wigan's in town.
Well, Wigan have always had a target on the back.
Of
but
course
now
they
they've got 4 trophies. It's an even bigger target, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But again, I mean, we've got to cherish that. It doesn't. These kind of things do not happen forever. So we'll continue looking at ourselves. We'll, this week we're going to a difficult game. There's no doubt about it. There'll be a little bit dusty after celebrations, and then we have London next week, and then we have the international week where we can probably refresh and then battle on for the second half of the season.
You've got 9 men in the running for a place in the England squad, haven't you?
Yeah, I think
that's not going to be much refreshing, Kris.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Matt is going to have a few conversations with Sean Wayne, which will always be interesting. But no, we've got if we can navigate these next 3 or 4 weeks and then get a bit of a refresh, and then we'll go for the second half of the season.
The great thing is about any sportsman, you get success, and because you get success, you want more, and you want more, and you want more, and you think it's going to carry on, I'm sure, But there's a lot of hard work that goes into making sure that it does continue.
Yeah, look, I know we'll speak about Matt at some point today, but he's still suffering imposter syndrome. He can't believe
Really?
he's the head coach. Oh yeah,
Never.
Oh yeah,
Really?
he still can't believe
So 5 trophies in his tenure.
Yeah, which is great, isn't it? And he's humble, and he still thinks he can't believe that he's the head coach of Wigan. So when you have that kind of mentality, you just want to keep getting better and proving people wrong. And
he seems an outstanding individual. He seems to be the manager of all time. He's modest. He got a bit carried away on the weekend when the Dufty tackle came in, and he obviously was miffed that Mike Cooper had been sent off, and he was up the window. But other than that, I've never seen him show great emotion.
Yeah.
One way or the other. Yes, he punches the air when you score tries, applauds and all that, but there's never any histrionics from him.
No, he's honest and he's unassuming. I think what I would say about him, he's curious. He's still trying to unlock potential in himself to get better. He surrounds himself with people who can help him. If you look at the support network at Wigan, he's got Sean Wayne, he's got Thomas Luluai, he's got Sean O'Loughlin, he's got Joel Tompkins, he's got Dennis Betts, and he's got myself. There's probably over 2,000 games worth of experience, and I think we're all committed to making him as good as he can be. And he takes it all in his stride. When he gets the accolades, he's very quick to distribute them onto other people. So he is a pretty all-round special guy, and we're lucky to have him.
What makes me laugh is the number of complaints you got when you appointed him. How many was it?
Yeah. Listen, like I said, it's a demanding tone, and I get it. I
hope you kept their addresses and you send them sending them a certain CV now.
I part those emotions years ago, but I understand it. Why? It's the hottest seat in rugby league, and people who know the club and have been at the club and have seen his journey will understand it. Yeah. But there'll be people who don't know where he's come from, and when we announced it, people would have been surprised. But I also thought and knew that the responsibility of that job means that we must have done our homework. We're not just going to give it to somebody who didn't know what he was doing. Am I surprised that he's had this success so quickly? I'd be a liar to think to say no. I'm not surprised. Of course, to win everything in such that period of time is incredible. But I do know he's an individual who, I probably speak to and have spoken to for the last 10 years every single day about something. So, you know, the world's his oyster.
There are pundits, I could name one but I won't, who say it's not the coach, it's the players. The players don't need coaching, they just need pushing out onto the field, and they will do their own thing because they know what they're doing. Is it a balancing act?
Look,
is he a great coach?
He's a great coach. He's a great coach. He's a great communicator. He's amazing with his staff.
So he's a man manager.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, and the tactics come from him.
Yeah.
And Tommy and Sean, obviously, and all the others you've mentioned.
Absolutely. And you know, we recently tied down a number of key players throughout the squad, and the first question they've asked is, "What's your plan with Matt? How long's he going to be here?" So that just tells you the impact that he's having on individuals, and probably led to us, you know, securing Matt on a long-term contract. Which, again, many people probably wonder what was all that about, and it's unheard of in professional sport. But I'm confident that if we can manage this period, if we can throw in some real professional responsibility and engagement and development with him, and we can look after his family and take them on this journey with us, then he could go down as one of Wigan's most successful coaches ever, because that's what he wants.
He almost is now, isn't he? With this record in 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Trophies.
That's what he wants. And you know, in his office before he went in, I put a row of pictures above his desk, which was every Wigan coach over the last 100 years or whatever, his picture, and he walked in, and he's look, no pressure then. But you know, he's earning his place amongst them now, and it's pretty good.
Well, let's hear from Matt Pete and the Lance Todd Trophy winner, Beven French.
It's a great reflection of the team's success and where we're at as a group. It's just built on a lot of hard work and taking each day as it comes, and it sounds fantastic. So yeah, we're going to enjoy it, but we won't let it get us carried away neither.
To win the Challenge Cup now is it means a lot. It's pretty special to get it done and have all 4 trophies at the same time at the moment. So you know, it's only been done a couple of times before, and yeah, I think it's pretty special. You know, to be able to experience it with this group and coaching staff and everyone involved. Really, it's a very special day for sure.
Matt Pete and Beven French. Right, we've spoken about Matt Pete. Let's talk about Beven French. How good was he on Saturday, by the way?
Yeah,
How good is he every week?
Yeah.
Never seems to have a bad game, does he?
But especially Saturday.
Yeah,
he
well,
was
a big
very
game,
good.
yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, his highlight reel is getting close to a Fire Robinson standard. It really is. You know, when you look at all the things together, and I always say this: his teammates will, yeah, they love the crazy stuff he does and the exciting and weird things he does with the ball. But why they love him is because he turns up every single week. He sets standards in training. He does I call it the unsexy stuff, which is leading kick chases. He's not afraid to throw his shoulder in. He's becoming a leader and a voice in the team. You don't always get that from superstars, but when they turn up every day and put the boots on and they don't miss training, that raises the standards of everybody else. And he's a superstar. He carries himself well. He looks like a superstar. I remember looking at him very late Sunday night after about 30 hours of drinking, Eddie, and he still looked like a superstar. He still had the smile. You know, he's still winking at people, and you just think, yeah, the bloke's got it all. So he's a really talented player.
When you signed him, did you have a hint that what you were getting? You knew in your own mind this fella is going to be here, and he's got a 5-year deal now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's here for a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, he'll by the time it's over, he'll end up he'll probably end up with a testimonial at the club. And I keep going back to this highlight reel. His highlight reel will deserve a testimonial by that point.
Be as long as his testimonial year, probably.
Absolutely, yeah. We saw clips of some of the things he'd done, but you know, sometimes the NRL is not for everybody. You know, people do not want to be on the front page and the back page. They just want to be unassuming, and probably the English game and the lifestyle of Manchester. You know, he lives around here, and he's probably anonymous on the streets of Manchester, and that suits him.
Of course it does.
You know, and it's not for everybody, but I just think he's found a good place. He's found a great set of teammates, and he's found a coach who allows him to be himself and express himself.
At the Lance Todd dinner last night, where he got the trophy again, I thought he spoke very well about personal accolades, because obviously he's the man of steel. He's won the Lance Todd and winning things with the squad as well. I thought he spoke about that very well.
Yeah, these guys, I think when they go out, it'll always be on the back of the mind, but it will be at the back of the mind. I think if Wigan would have lost at the weekend and he'd have got the Lance Todd, he would have been pretty gutted. So certainly in our sport, and it's not just at our club, I would say across every single club, it's very, very much team first mentality. And then whatever falls off the back of it is great for their personal CVs as they move forward.
No English heritage in him. He couldn't be in one of the 9 Wigan players in Sean Wayne's team.
No, I think Matty will be pleased about that.
I mean, that's the trouble. He's an Australian, and he's walking all over this competition, isn't he? You know, and rightly so. He's a fantastic player.
But you want to be paid to be entertained.
Of course
as well,
you do.
And
of course
he
you
is
do.
an entertainer.
Yes, you do. You go and watch. I remember when they gave Jamie Lyon the Man of Steel award that year. Everybody in the room that decided in those days who was going to be the winner that year said, "This has been the year of Jamie Lyon." You couldn't argue with that. This is Beven French's time, isn't it? There is no question about that.
What was good last night was he actually recognised the importance of the Lance Todd as well and the history of it. So he wasn't taking something like this for granted.
No.
It'll be something that he'll.
Well, there's some huge names on that trophy, isn't there? Including yourself in 2002. I mean, a Roll of Honour is phenomenal for Lance Todd. There was 4 games on Saturday. The first game was the schools final, and it went to St Peter's Catholic High School. They were outstanding as well.
First time a Brown has won at Wembley, wasn't it?
Yes,
Kevin
Harry Brown.
son.
Harry Brown.
Yeah.
Keep your eye on
Sorry,
it.
Kev.
Listen to this, Eddie. This is outstanding. When we talk about community work, what Wigan are doing on and off the pitch, again, it's spot on under the guidance of Kris and Matt. You got the school in last week, didn't you? Tell us what you did with the school.
Yeah, we did. Look, for Wigan school to get to Wembley, it was huge. And our community programme is very much part of our weekly engagement, you know, and we're lucky to have a coach in Matt Pitt who believes in that. So we wanted to do something really special for them during the week, and it was a very busy week as it was, but it was important we reached out and did something. So we invited them all in, all the parents. We did a short presentation with them.
I bet they were thrilled.
Yeah, it was great. Matty spoke to them. I showed Joel Tompkins' Wembley try, and he spoke to them about the occasion. And we put a picture of Wembley, and we spoke about the stadium and the grass, and it's things that they've done many, many times before, and not to be afraid. And then our chairman spoke to them, which was great. Then they all received a book, and in the front page there was a message from their equivalent player in our squad. So
Harry Brown got a message from Beven French.
No, Beven French. So the front page was a message from Beven.
Oh, from one of your players, of course.
And then the next 5 pages, we had a question that they had to answer every single night. So I gave them a little bit of homework, which was how to prepare for the game, how do you be the best teammate at the weekend, and it's just getting them thinking about the occasion as well. And it was really nice. All the parents were there, and then the day after they came in and had lunch with the team as well. But it's not. I think it's our responsibility to give these opportunities. It probably took an hour out of our day, but I know it was probably
fantastic.
Probably received a lot more.
How good would those lads have felt going down to Wembley at the weekend? Not only what's happened before, but then to come home having won the trophy that day.
And if the chief exec of Wigan Warriors is setting your homework, you're doing it as well, aren't you?
Yes, exactly.
Like I said, it was a little thing for us, but it's very much part of our community.
I don't know, and I might be speaking completely out of turn here, I don't know of another sport that would embrace a schoolboys team like that. I mean, I don't know whether Liverpool do, I don't know whether Manchester United, Man City do. I think Man City have a little bit of a communication with the local community, but
not to this level.
But not to that level. That is, what went over. It wasn't just an hour. It was you had them in for lunch as well.
Yeah, they came the day after, and
Wow.
they it was funny.
Well, hats off to you.
Well, they came in, and it was steak day, so they all had a steak with the first team day. Yeah, I don't know whose budget that came out of, but no, it was brilliant. It was brilliant, and the parents were in the room, and that was great. And the coaches, the volunteer coaches, so they deserve a hell of a amount of praise for what they do as well.
You've mentioned opportunity. What about the opportunities for the women's game. Obviously, Wigan didn't make the final, but I saw Dennis Betts there, who is the coach for the Wigan women's team. You're really invested in the women's game, aren't you?
Yeah, we've financially invested. We'll invest so much in the infrastructure of the women's program this year. We recruited Dennis. Dennis, a high-profile name, who's he's got 5 girls of his own. Dennis, so he's used to dealing with women, and when I spoke to him about the opportunity, he was excited about it. So to have him back has been brilliant. They're very much integrated into our club, like every other team there, and there's no doubt at this stage who the leading teams are in Leeds, Saints, and York. But we're making really great progress, and we ran the team close in the semi-final, and we were unfortunate to get there. But it's very much part of our future, and we're all committed to making a real success of that programme.
And how good was it to have a women's final at Wembley for the second year running?
It was amazing, and not just that. I don't think it was tokenistic. I think it added to the occasion as well. It was an exciting watch. There was a lot of quality on display as well. And in the past, it has been a little bit, let's get these on kind of thing. But now this is entertainment. This was brilliant, and everybody enjoyed it and got in the ground early to watch. Yeah,
it was good, and well done to St Helens. That's 4 Betfred Challenge Cup wins now on the bounce. Let's say from our skipper, Jodie Cunningham.
It felt so good the first time that you know what you're missing out on then if you don't do it. So first job was to get here, and we did that in style, and then second job was to put a performance on and make sure that no one took the trophy off us, and I think that's job done too. So proud of the girls. I definitely think there's more people in the stadium supporting us, getting behind the girls' game, 4 in a row. There's so many people now who are getting behind the women's game, and I like to think the product that we put on the field is something worth watching, and hopefully everyone who has come down and watched the game for the first time or tuned in, watching on television, has been impressed with what they've seen, because we're only getting better. The women's game's only going to get bigger from here, and these girls have got such a bright future.
So well done to St Helens. That's 4 Betfred Challenge Cups on the bounce. That is impressive. And the last game was Wakefield winning the AB Sundex 1895 Cup. So well done to Wakefield. It was a brilliant day. We also had a very moving tribute to Rob Burrow. We'll talk about that later in the show. Let's just move now to this weekend's Betfred Super League games. Starting on Friday night, Wigan are away at Castleford. I presume, Matt, Pete's team talk is quite easy. Put Saturday behind you, crack on with the Super League, because it's tight, isn't it, this year?
Yeah, it's important. It's back to business. They had a couple of days off at the start of the week. I actually sat in the first team meeting this morning and listened to the focus for the week, and they're ready. We've been to Castleford twice this season already, in the league and in the cup, and it's always a difficult place to go. But we'll turn up. He's named a pretty full-strength team, and it's one of these you learn a lot about your teammates in these games, who can back up from the cup final and the fallout from the cup final. I'm sure that's what Matt will be looking at. Who are the tough characters who'll turn up on Friday? We'll be ready.
A lot of years the cup winners do struggle the following week, don't they?
Yeah.
Because of the emotion and the celebration,
Absolutely.
which you can understand. And you're right, they deserve a celebration after a performance like that. It'll be fascinating to see how they turn up. I mean, Castleford aren't the best that they can be and have been. They've also apparently lost McShane and Westerman. You've lost Field. I think he's not in your squad either. But everyone will be saying if you go down the gurgler, oh, it's a cup hangover. They've been partying all week. I can hear it now.
Yeah,
but you're not expecting to.
And it'll be used as an excuse, but I don't think Matt will accept that. No. I think what he'll be saying this week is, let me see how tough you are, and then forget about the result. That'll look after itself. But let me see who'll put that hand up and turn up after a week after the party and then a week after the Great Cup final.
Because you want 6. Don't you? You want 6 trophies in a row.
Yeah.
You want to be at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
I get the impression they want them all, and it is so
exactly.
tight.
It's so tight. It is. You can't afford a day off.
Hull KR Huddersfield. Hull KR 3rd at the moment.
Yes, and they're going well, aren't they? I mean, they're a little inconsistent. They're a bit in and out. Shane Richardson from West Tigers is over here. He used to be a CEO in the Super League, Gateshead, wasn't he? And he's been around the tracks a bit. Shane Richardson reckons that Mikey Lewis is the best number 7 in Super League. So there might be
Chris
a hint
might
there.
disagree.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But there might be a little hint there that Mikey Lewis might be on the radar for some NRL clubs. Who knows? But he is a great little player. It's at Hull Kingston Rovers, isn't it?
Yep.
You know, they're difficult to beat there. Huge crowd. Some crazy supporters who, you know, are never off the back of the referee, the touch judges and the opposition. So it's going to be tough. It really is going to be tough for Huddersfield to go there. Huddersfield have been a bit in and out as well, but if they are going to make a bid for the top 6...
Oh, well, they're not out of the playoffs at all because it's so tight.
Exactly. So they've got to go there and they've got to stand up and they've got to win. But they have been up and down, a little bit inconsistent this year, Huddersfield.
Also on Friday night, Warrington Salford.
Yeah. Well, you would expect Warrington to come back and try and put the record straight. I was so disappointed, and so were the Warrington fans, I know, with the Warrington performance at Wembley, and that's taking nothing away from Wigan because they were magnificent in defence. They scored the tries. I don't think the 2 yellow cards at the start of the final helped either Warrington or Wigan or the game, but you know that's a debate for somewhere else. But yeah, Warrington have got to come back and prove that was just a flash in the pan. Salford, Paul Rowley's done a magnificent job. Ian Blease is now moving on from Salford to the Leeds Rhinos as the sporting director. Ian Blease must have done something good at Salford because they've got to grand finals, they've got to Challenge Cup finals, and they finished 3rd in the table.
And if you look what he's done with Jackson Hastings and Brody Croft and other players.
Made them a lot of money, I would think, on the transfer market. So it's a good appointment for the Rhinos, I think, the Ian Blease. So do people moving out of the back room to other clubs, does that have an effect on the playing staff? I'm not sure it does
Chris,
it?
I don't think,
experience?
I don't think on the certainly from the Salford lads, I think Paul Rowley is capable enough to deal with that. I think it will boost the Leeds team because they've got a new guy coming in and probably he's looking at things and be a period of review over the first few weeks. So I do expect them to kick on a little bit.
Let's just quickly talk about the other games, Eddie. Hull versus Leeds, just mentioned Leeds.
Well, I think Ian Blease said, didn't he, he wants the Leeds supporters to start getting behind the team again, beginning with Hull this weekend. Hull have been desperate, haven't they, in 2024? Absolutely desperate. The bottom of the league, other than the fact that, you know, London are there, and we know where London are going next year. It's a big game, I think, for both clubs. I think it's a chance for Hull to make a statement that they're not as bad as people think they are, and it's a chance for Leeds to say, well, look, you know, we're going to go okay, and again, they will be hoping for top 6 finish at the very least.
Saturday night, Catalans versus Lee. 1,500 going on Lee. Brilliant.
Catalan won't sell any more tickets to the Lee Leopards because it's the biggest ever travelling support, and Christophe Levy has said we don't want to feel like we're playing in an away game, so he stopped the sale of tickets. It'll be a fantastic atmosphere. The sun will be shining. Please God, the sun will shine in the UK as well over the weekend, because about time we got some summer. They will have a great time with Lee, but you would back the Catalans on their own midden, even against Lee with 1,500 supporters.
And finally on Sunday, London versus St Helens.
Well, Q on the rack, Saints are coming back with 2 points, which means that Wigan have got to win their match this weekend.
Yeah.
Back at the Stoop as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Game, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
It is.
One of the great venues.
So, Chris, obviously you're in second place at the moment, the game in hand, but it's so tight at the top, isn't it?
It really is. You just spoke about Catalans and Lee. Lee have not been far off all season.
No.
You know, they've lost a couple of games by a few points. They're getting some players back.
They're not out of the playoffs, Lee, definitely.
And the players are being cherry-picked.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I almost think, if I was Adrian Lamb, I know he's committed his future, I'll be saying, let's finish this little period of our success together and generating this spirit within the group. I wouldn't be surprised if Lee turn Catalan over at the weekend and they have a really good run at the playoffs. Yeah, they're not far away then, guys.
They're not. Well, Lachlan Lamb is important to them. Edwin Ipapi is vital to them.
Absolutely.
They keep the thing is, last year they didn't have any injuries, did they?
No.
Lee didn't seem to be going through the injury problems they've had this year.
Yeah.
And they sailed through and won the Challenge Cup dramatically. Yeah. They were brilliant last year.
I'd like to finish the show paying tribute to Rob Burrow, CBE. He scored the best ever try in a grand final. Watch this.
Oh, he's stuck under them, Burrow, and he's outstripped Wellens. It's a brilliant Burrow try, a fantastic Rob Burrow try.
A brilliant Rob Burrow try.
A brilliant Rob Burrow try. I think I said it 5 metres from the line, didn't I? Because obviously no one's going to stop him. Absolutely sensational. The greatest ever try, in my opinion, in a grand final. I know that, we had the drop goal attempt at Hull in front of nobody, which was a tragedy for everyone concerned, and when Saints won it in the last touch of the match. But what a player!
Look, you commentated on his great moments.
Yeah,
Let's talk about him. How good was he as a player?
Unbelievable. I mean, he's 5'5". I think he was 11 stone dripping wet. People said he would never be big enough to play the game. He not only played the game, he dominated the game. He is an icon of the sport now. He's a legend of the sport. His legacy will live on forever because of his treatment centre that is now being built in Leeds. I mean, how ironic that the first spade went in the ground the day after he passed away. He was remembered brilliantly at the weekend, both at Wembley and with our cousins in Rugby Union at the Twickenham Stadium for the Premiership final. Prince of Wales, the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, you would expect that at this particular stage. Princess Anne, the dignitaries were all over the tragic news. He led the news on the Sunday when he passed away, both ITV and BBC. The front pages of the papers was covered in pictures and stories about Rob. An absolute icon. We've lost not only a great player but a great man. What he did when he was diagnosed with motor neurons disease and he opened up his world to the world, and this is what he is going to be going through. He never lost the smile on his face. I last saw him at an evening with Kevin Sinfield that RL Cares put on at Headingley, and he was in the audience with his mum and dad. And you can only feel desperately sorry for them and for Lindsay and the kids, his daughters and his little boy. Delightful. Lindsay, what a treasure she has been. What a job she has done in looking after him. She wanted nothing else. It grieves you, doesn't it, that we will never see him again. And we probably will never see the likes of him again.
Kris, you talked about having pictures up of a training ground. You don't have opposition players on the wall, except one. You've got a picture of Rob Burrow on the training ground wall, haven't you, at Wigan?
Yeah, we have, him and Kev. And it just says about it, that, the best teammates care. What Kev did for Rob was unbelievable. Do you know, and if I'm being honest, I don't believe the game celebrated Rob enough at the end of his career, before his diagnosis.
Well, he was going with a number of other great players.
He was celebrated. I remember the Man of Steel dinner. All the people who were retiring, they all get welcomed on stage, and I always felt that Rob was different because of it. His diminutive nature and his courage and his character. And I don't believe we celebrated him enough at that time. I think obviously what he's gone on to do since, with the way he's tackled and approached this horrific situation, has just been unbelievable. And I know you mentioned Lindsay there, and his parents and his kids. There's a great lesson in that for all of us.
Absolutely.
I think the way Kevin has supported his mate, has transcended the world of sport, into politics. People all over the world are talking about it. And he'll be sadly missed, but like you said, the legacy of the MND Centre opening the day after was, it's very sad, but it's also heartwarming. And it's our job as our sport is never to let the spirit of Rob die. He was an amazing guy, an amazing rugby player. And when you see his accolades, his honours that he's won, it's superb. We're lucky to have him.
Only one honour eluded him, and at the moment is eluding Kevin. I just wish that we were paying tribute to Sir Rob Burrow
Yeah.
and Sir Kevin Sinfield, because who else deserves it more than them? Seriously, they've raised £20 million. They've brought M&D into everybody's lives. We all know now about motor neurone disease because of Rob and because of Kevin.
We're running out of time, Chris. I thought, I don't know how you do a tribute to Rob Burrow, CBE, but I thought Wembley did a pretty good job on Saturday.
What you have to remember is they did it as well in 6 days' notice, really. No one was expecting Rob to go on the Sunday, but to turn it round, they did, to produce the flags, to choreograph everything. It was outstanding. And, the governing body deserves a hell of a lot of credit for turning it around like that. And I think the sport, the other sports, it was great to see it at Newcastle United, at the England International.
Yes.
I think so many people were touched by this story, and the game gets plenty of knocks, but I think we've done some good things right recently, and we deserve credit for that.
Chris, thanks for coming in. Well, it's been a brilliant week. Congratulations to you and the squad. Eddie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Rob Burrow, CBE, a warrior on and off the pitch. Thanks for watching.